Hey guys, welcome to my channel. It's B Taylor TV, and we are going to have another panel discussion today, but we're going to do something a little different. We are going to have Miss Queen Sheba, who is back again, be the moderator. She's going to be asking me some questions and asking Kelly Culture some questions about being a single mother, being in the dating world. And I thought this topic was such a good topic because I hear so many modern men talking about single mothers and how they're just pump and dumps and you just use them, you don't take them seriously. So we're going to take a deep dive in that of what our experiences has been and how to avoid these type of dusty men. So I'm going to go ahead and let Queen Sheba take over. And we're going to be dropping some gems today, guys. So get ready.
All right. Well, thank you, B. Taylor. Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I am Queen Sheba, and I promise you tonight's show will be nothing short of amazing. With that being said, we are not going to waste your time any longer. We are going to jump right in. And first things first, Kelly, I'm going to start with you. I am going to put you in the hot seat. And hello, JC, young Doc, and everybody out there that's tuning in. I see you. I see everybody giving us a shout out, so I don't want to miss that. But back to the show, Kelly, has there ever been a time that you have ever been rejected because you've had a child?
So I was it's funny before the show started. I was just talking to B. Taylor about this. It happened once. I guess I'm not sure how I met the gentleman, but we were talking because it was so short-lived. We were having a conversation, and then I was like, "Oh yeah, it's my son," and I just brought him up in conversation, and he was like, "Your son? You have a son?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "How old is he?" And I told him, and he was like, "Oh well, I don't date women with kids." And I was like, "Oh, okay, that's interesting. I've never had anyone say that to me before." I was like, "What's the reason? Like, why?" And he was like, "I just feel like I want to, like, when I have a child, I want to start my family with the woman that I'm with." And I was like, "That makes sense." I'm like, "That's a good reason." I was like, "I can't do anything but respect that because I don't date men with children." he was like, he was like, "How can you say that? You have a child." I was like, "Because I don't want the drama that comes with that extra parent being involved. So if that's something you decide, I can't do anything but respect that. So good luck. You're not going to find any woman better than me." that's how it ended. But it was very short-lived. It was like within the first phone conversation we found out that it wasn't going to work. So I wasn't brokenhearted by it.
I like that because a lot of women would take offense to that as single mothers, Kelly. So I really like the fact that you were able to respect his boundaries, respect his wishes, his ideal woman. But a lot of men and a lot of women would say that's somewhat of a double standard on your end, that you do have a child and your prerequisite, is that a man should not have a child. You don't want a man with a child. Explain that.
Yeah, because when my son was younger, his dad wasn't involved in the picture. So the way I saw it was, if you deal with me, it's just me and my son. But if I deal with you, there's no way that the mom's not going to be involved. I mean, I would date a man if he was a widower, like if the wife was not in the picture at all. But if once that woman enters the picture, it just creates drama. And the one time I broke the rule, there was a wife with drama. The one time I broke my rule. So I've never dated. I don't usually even have men with children try to date me. Usually it's single men. So I don't know. Like, there was only the one. I was a one-off. So.
Hold on now. You said a wife with drama. You didn't say a baby mama. Explain yourself.
No, like it was his ex-wife. Like,
okay, gotcha. So. Okay, just to clear that out.
His children were older. He had 4 children with her. His youngest was 16. So he had just went into his senior year when I met him. So the mom really, and the wife lived in another state. So I didn't really see that as drama, but it ended up being drama. Okay. So I stick by my rule.
And one final question, and I'll take you out the hot seat. I told you we're coming in hot, you guys. We're getting this party started early. Yes. the
super
people
hot.
have been waiting. That's how you come in. Is your baby daddy drama, Kelly?
Mine? Is he drama?
Mm-hmm.
I don't really like the term baby daddy. I call him my son's father. I just
Okay.
never liked that term. My son's father, I would say in the earlier years, he was absolutely drama. I don't even want to talk to him. But now he's a great father, and I think he it's his relationship with me more so is now he tries to like look out for me and make sure that I'm in a good spot because he doesn't want anything to happen to his son's mother. So he'll check on me, he'll make sure I'm good, he'll try to give me dating advice. Like, I don't need dating advice from you. But now he's more respectful, and it's more like, if you're with a man, I would like to meet him because I want to know the kind of man that's going to be around our son. So I would say he's not drama now, but in his younger years,
Yeah. And that demonstrates growth. And I really like the fact that as he began to grow, he realized that the bigger picture was that you as the mother, and when you're good, his son is good. So not only that, how can I help you? You know, if there's somebody that you're interested in, let's make sure this joker is right, not only for you as my son's mother, but also
mm-hmm.
for my son. So
Mm-hmm.
kudos to him. B.
Well, I
Taylor,
gotta
take
give
a
him
deep
his props.
breath.
See, Taylor, you're in the
Yes.
hot
Oh, I'm about to
seat.
be in the hot seat.
Yes. You can see how it feels.
Okay, all right, I'm ready.
Yeah, I kind of poured on pretty thick. I came in hot on Kelly. Kelly, thank you for being a good sport.
Queen She's
Um,
great, by the way, so she's not taking it easy on us. She's about to bring the real.
yeah.
Okay.
B. Taylor, has there ever been a time that you've been rejected for being a single mother?
I
Please share.
I have never. I've never had a guy tell me that he wouldn't date me. With for being a single mother. And I have the same experience as Kelly. Is that there's a lot of men who don't have kids. Who come after me. I make this joke about like I make men baby daddies. They don't make me a baby mama. I make them baby daddies because my second child's father was childless before I met him, and now we have a kid together. And he didn't mind at all. But I can say, looking back, maybe there was times where, first of all, I always let guys know upfront before when they're interested that I have a kid. So do what you please with that. But I post my child on my social media. If you meet me, I'll say like, "Oh, I'm a mother," and do what you please with that information. And if you back off, I really don't notice. I just get it out the way. I don't try to hide my kid because I think it's fair that up front in meeting you, I'll let you decide if you want to take my number or not. So I try to be as transparent as possible with that. But no, but maybe I can say looking back that maybe some guys didn't take me as serious because I had a kid. So, but I wouldn't know because I never had a guy tell me up front, I don't want to talk to you because you have a kid.
Okay. That tees up my next question, B. Taylor.
Okay.
With that being said, Kelly says, yeah, I've absolutely had a guy said, you know what? I don't want to get serious about a woman that has a kid. My desire is to have my first child with a woman that I want to be with forever. Whereas your experience have been as a single mother, I have not had a man to reject me because I've had a child. Why do you think men reject some single women opposed to others? I
Oh,
mean, not single women, single mothers. I'm sorry, single mothers.
I think it just depends what they may see. They look past the child. They may say, she brings certain qualities that I can look past. Her having a child. It looks like she has a good head on her shoulders. She has her own place. She's well kept. Her child's well kept. She's educated. She's done well for herself. It doesn't seem like she needs a stepdad. I think that's why a lot of men probably stray away because they asked me, is the child's father in his life? And I said, yes, he's very active. He helps me out. He looks out for both of us. And I think the problem was, I think a lot of men were intimidated because of how active. And they were just kind of like, oh, why y'all not together? Why y'all not? And I would explain that. And they were like, man, it's just so peaceful between y'all two. Y'all have to have something going on between y'all. And I'm like, no, I just wanted to make sure before I started dating that whatever beef and drama that we had, that was settled before I got out into the dating world. because I don't want the guy that I'm dating to feel pressure that he needs to take care of my kid.
Thank you. That was very good. Kelly, when it comes to single mothers, what's your opinion? What's your thoughts centering on why some men are more open to dating some single mothers as opposed to others?
Well, I think that when a man looks at a woman as far as like someone he wants to have in his future, he looks at like the whole picture. And I don't want to sound
No, keep it
politically
real. That's
incorrect.
what we're here for.
It's it's like there's a stigma with being a single mom, like the welfare, the ratchetness, the promiscuity, like it's like that is deemed the single mom. But there are women that had a child and it just didn't work out with that man, but they still got their stuff together. And if you're a woman that is attractive, that's taking care of business, and your child is taken care of, and he or she is well kept, like B. Taylor said. Like to me, I always thought about my son as like we're a Twix. Like it's two for me. Like we're inseparable. It's a double package. Like if you pick me, he comes with it, and it's non-negotiable. Like you could never say I don't want to deal with your son because I don't want to deal with you. Why would I want to be around a man that doesn't give a dang about the most important person in my life? So, but I think men look at the whole thing. They look at, and they obviously they look at whether or not the father's involved because that can be intimidating. For me, it wasn't an issue in the beginning, but as soon as his dad re-entered his life, people would ask like, "So is the father in the picture?" That was like the first question when someone found out I had a son, and he was like, "Yeah, he's active," and they were like, "Oh, you guys like?" They always wanted to know like our situation, especially when they found out what he looked like. Like wanted to know like, "You're not still dating him, are you?" Because
Yeah.
my son's dad is a model, so he's very good looking. So men always were wondering like, "So that's not like a thing anymore?" Like, no, that's not a thing anymore.
Yeah.
So that was always a question. But I think if you have yourself together, if you still look great, you're well spoken, you have your ducks in a row, I don't really think the child matters that much. But if you're like Ratchet Barbie who needs saving, that's like a whole different story. So if you're
Yeah.
on welfare and you have like 3 and 4 kids and your mindset hasn't shifted to trying to be better, that's still the lifestyle you're living. I just think one woman will get chosen, one won't.
Hey, you can't get any realer than that. I think that was like spot on, Kelly. Thank you.
Sorry for the people in the chat. Don't get mad
No,
at me.
I think they're tracking. I think they're tracking. I think they appreciate an honest and open conversation, and that's what we're here for, right? Um, you said something. You said men tend to ask, is the father involved? We rarely hear women being, I mean, if a woman dates a man with kids, we rarely hear the woman asking, is the mother involved? Because that's an assumed position,
Right.
right? Why is that? Why is it that you feel like the question, B. Taylor, needs to be asked, is the father involved? And I'm really going to go in tonight, right? Because we need to really if we're going to talk about this, we need to keep it 100. Um is that a question that's normally addressed to and for Black fathers? And
Uh,
if so, why?
so statistically, there are more absent fathers than mothers. There is not a lot of single dads compared to the rates of single mothers. And as we know that there's a lot of people who grew up without fathers. So as a man, you're running into all these beautiful women, and then you find out that the dads are deadbeats, and you're meeting another woman that's a single mother, and the dad's a deadbeat, and you read another woman and the dad's a deadbeat, and you go on Facebook and log in. There's a woman complaining about how her son's father, is a deadbeat. So it's kind of like you're seeing it everywhere. So you just kind of expect the father to not be in the picture, especially when that person is young. They don't really have high expectations that the father is actively involved. And if the dad is involved, then they question, are y'all still having sex? Because there are some women who say that the father is only around because of
They
him,
still have access to the mom.
because he still has access to the mother. So there's a lot of men who don't really care for the kid. They just want access to the mother. So men understand that, and they understand that men have pushed a narrative out there that, oh, they always have access to hit and have sex with their baby's mother because that's the woman that had their child. But that's,
And I've heard men say that they know they can always go back to their baby's
and
mama.
that's a motherfucker.
They know she'll do things that other women won't do. Like,
I don't normally curse on my channel, but I'm gonna say that's a damn lie. And I have no interest in ever being like that again.
but I think a lot of women do. I think they feel like,
Okay. Kelly, what are
they
your
want
thoughts?
their family,
Is that true? Kelly, B. Taylor gave her take on, is the door open or is the door now closed? In your honest opinion, Kelly, not based on your experience, but if you want to throw a little bit of salt and pepper from your experience, that's fine compared to what you've heard in the streets. Is it true that most men that have a baby's mama can always return
I
and
think
lay with
so.
her at leisure?
I think so. Like, if she is single, if she's in a relationship, no. But if the woman's still single, I think if the dad goes back, he'll meet his baby mama with open arms and open legs.
It depends how old the child is. I feel like it depends how old the child is. It depends on the child's age. Like my son is like nearly 7. That was 7 years ago. You think I'm still holding on to something from 7 years ago? That
But
means
you're also in a relationship. If you were single and you had your son, and your son's dad came over and he was looking good and smelling good and saying all the right things and wanting to get back and have your family, I think that is enticing for a single mother that is single, because it's like you can have that family unit. And I think
me and her saying that,
in a woman's mind, she would always like to have a family with
yeah,
the father of their child. So if he says the right things, does the right things, I can see that being enticing. Like, oh, okay,
that's
maybe we
true.
can give this a chance. Like, the father will actually come home. Why not?
I think that's true to a certain extent. I mean, maybe when my son was younger, I definitely was holding on to that whole making my family work dynamic. I really
Yes.
wanted to. Nobody desires to be a single mother.
Right.
That's not something I imagined to be in this position, having kids before marriage. That was never the picture. I think I didn't even want to get married until 31 and have a kid at like 30, before 35. Like, I never desired that. Kids were just not for me. I've never been the person that go, oh, let me hold the baby. Like, I got for like,
You're like, oh, the baby's cute.
right.
Mhm.
But when I got pregnant, people were like, Brittany, a baby? Like, I was so like business minded. Like, I wanted to be successful. I was just a go-getter. So for me, when I did in the early stages, yes, of course. Like, I would want my family. I would want it to work. I don't want to raise my kid in 2 separate homes. But as I got older and mature and was able to heal, I was able to identify why it didn't work and with the things that I settled for. So if he's still the same man from years ago, then I, as a woman, would be like, there's a reason why we're not together. And if you haven't fixed those things, I'm not going to jump along and go for it. But if the dating world has sucked and it's been like 7 years in and he's just changed into this fantastic man, I think any woman would probably go ahead and it don't have to be her baby dad. It can be her ex or something. And you just become this amazing man. Why would you turn that down? Especially a chance of bringing your family together. But I don't have no desire.
And
But I
it's
think most women would.
so far it seems like everyone in the chat is following the two of you. So kudos to you ladies.
Shout out to Kayla. Shout out to everybody.
Yeah.
Kayla's
Hey,
in the chat.
Kayla.com is in the house. Everybody make sure. Kayla, did you have your show? Is it tonight or tomorrow?
It's tomorrow, I think.
Make sure you tune in to Kayla.com on tomorrow. Kayla, let them know in the chat what time they can come over and support you. Yeah. So, B. Taylor, you teed me up for my next question. You
Okay.
talked about a
Mhm.
lot and you gave a lot of it really good information, which makes me want to ask the two of you, based on everything that you both have shared. So tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, which is 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Kayla.com, you guys check her out.
And I'll send you the link, Queen Sheba, so you can join because she said that she would love for you to come.
Okay,
Oh, that's
awesome,
awesome.
awesome, awesome. Ladies, we got to keep it real.
Okay.
And remember, we promised that we're going to keep it real tonight. We're not going in easy. What does accountability looks like for you as a single mother? Where did you go
Accountability looks
wrong?
like
What could you
as
have
a
done
single
different?
mother.
Kelly.
You want me to go first?
I know. I'm like, please go first.
I've been going first this whole time.
I'm like, accountability. What?
Okay. So I can answer the question. So I know the answer because I am, quick backstory, I am a pastor's daughter, right? So getting pregnant outside of marriage was a huge no. Big. I was so afraid to tell my father that I was pregnant. I thought he was going to disown me. I thought he was going to disown me and never speak to me again and kick me out the house and I would be on the streets. That's what I thought. I'm like, because it was such a forbidden thing. You're not supposed to have sex before marriage. And now I'm pregnant. He didn't even know I was having sex, but I'm pregnant now. So this is the obvious, we broke the rules. So I was so afraid to tell him. And when I told my mother and I was like, can you tell dad? And she's like, I'm not going to tell him. You have to tell him. So I remember we were packing up for a trip and he was out there packing the car up. And I was like, Dad, I have to tell you something before we leave for the trip. And he was like, okay. And I was like, okay. I was like, I need you to know, like, I'm pregnant. I'm going to have a baby. He's like, okay. He's like, do you think I didn't know? I was like, how did you know? And he's like, okay. He's like, I have one question for you. And I was like, what's the question, Dad? And he was like, what did you learn from this? And then I was like, what? That's the question? He was like, yeah. He said, I still love you, but I need you to figure out what you learned from this situation because if you don't, it's going to happen again. So, like, literally every single day, he asked me the same question. What did you learn from this? Do you have an answer yet? 3 months went by. I still didn't have an answer. I'm going to ask you every day, so you need to be thinking. He's like, did you figure out what you learned from this? Did you figure out what you learned from this? And then finally, I had an answer that was adequate. And this was like in June and August, I finally had an answer. And he was like, okay, you've reached the beginning of wisdom, he said. He said, but I need you to keep digging. He said, because if you don't know what happened, it's going to recycle and happen again.
Yeah, I like that.
I mean, I can say that I have not had any more babies because I did learn from that experience. So I think it's taking accountability is realizing what you did, how you truly participated in the situation, and knowing moving forward how to avoid that. Because if you don't, it's going to reoccur. It will, and it has happened multiple times with multiple people because they don't take the time to really evaluate and take accountability for what they did. So, I mean, I can tell you what I do now with men, but I'll let B. Taylor go.
I think that's a really good example. And let me tell you why. I think in most situations where women, young girls, young women become pregnant, you would think the mother would be the crutch, the support system. But your situation was a little bit different because not only were you worried about how your dad would receive the news, but he was also the one that coached you through and held you accountable. So I think that gives a little bit more insight to the men that are tuned in, the men that are wanting to be married, the men that have families, the men that have children, and the men that are looking forward to having children, how they play a part or how they could play a part, not only in their daughters' lives, but also in their sons' lives. So thank you for that, Kelly.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
Yeah.
You tell me to be vulnerable.
No, and it's beautiful because I don't think we get an opportunity and a chance as Black women to be vulnerable enough without being judged. So that's why I really enjoy this platform that you host, B. Taylor. Yeah, But we're gonna put you in the hot seat, honey. I've been sweet, but what does accountability look like as a single mother? Because not only are you a single mother, but some would say and challenge that you're a single mother of two.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this hurts. Okay. So a lot of my platform didn't know, but I feel like my platform was holding me accountable and I wasn't ready to face it. I felt like they were shaming me for getting pregnant the second time. I had a lot of pushback, a lot of backlash. A lot of people probably unsubscribed to me when I got pregnant the second time because they were rooting for me. They looked at me like I was the like I was supposed to have my Sierra moment, you know. So for me, the first time I felt like I took accountability, but I really didn't. I just took responsibility. I took responsibility as in I took care of my child. I got my life together. I started working on myself, focusing on making my life better to make room for another man. But what I didn't realize is I wasn't taking accountability in the part that I played in getting pregnant. I just knew I took responsibility in that. So I really didn't understand what accountability was. I also had to understand I didn't create real boundaries for myself. So as I was healing by myself in my singleness, when I got in a relationship, it's like everything went out the door. And I didn't really realize that I was kind of losing myself and everything. I was so strong in my singleness, but when I got into a relationship, I didn't build enough boundaries for myself. I didn't protect my womb better. Not to say that Brandon is, just like this bad person or anything, but it was my responsibility to avoid pregnancy. And you know I was in love. I still am. Like I loved him. And you know i I told my story. I tried to explain my story that I got pregnant on birth control, and I still think that I could have did a better job at protecting myself. And I'm gonna take responsibility for that. But I last year was very hard, where I wanted to walk away from YouTube because I was really depressed during my pregnancy because I was here I am getting emotional again.
Take a deep breath. Pause. We don't get, and that's what I said. I feel like, and I'm jumping in for the pause.
Okay.
And I think that's where we hold each other up
Yeah.
as a village, as Black men and Black women, where we say, take a deep breath, be kind to yourself in this moment, because I feel like this is really beautiful. And these are moments we don't see behind the scenes. We often see people become very resilient and we see people become successful as single mothers, but we don't know the behind the scenes, the tears, the
Yeah.
challenging moments. So
Yeah.
pause, take a deep breath, and pick up where you left off.
So yeah, like I felt like I disappointed a lot of women because I was supposed to. My goal was to be the Sierra. Like, yeah, you can, have a child and find love again. And I was really rooting to be married, but I wasn't ready for any of the things that I was wanting. So when I did get pregnant the second time, I was very disappointed in myself. I was really depressed. Like I really didn't get to enjoy I felt very embarrassed. Um, and I felt like I let down a lot of people. So now the only thing that I can do is just learn. And that's what I've been trying to do is learn from men, learn from women, learn from people like yourself, such as yourselves. What accountability looks like. I'm getting the therapy, the well needed therapy that I need to heal and create boundaries for myself. Because I call myself a hopeless romantic. I do.
Mm.
And I never understood when women would get themselves in a situation to keep getting pregnant. But when you're like, you never experienced real love and you never created boundaries, and you're always somebody that was always manipulated, easily manipulated, or just really have hope to believe that a person, what they're saying to you is real, and you really want to believe them. um it's not them, it's me. People can tell you things all day. Oh, I'm going to marry you, I'm going to make you my wife, but that's not guaranteed. So it's me taking accountability that you know I should have protected myself a little bit better. And now I'm taking responsibility. The only way I can go through life now is taking accountability and cleaning up a lot of the things that I did. So I wouldn't recommend, it's ghetto being a baby, two-time baby mama, but and I never, thought I would be here. And I'm still kind of like going through that process. I think it's still like a shock to me that I have two kids. But boundaries are definitely important. And I realized that I didn't have strong boundaries. I had strong boundaries in dating, and I would cut a dude off like that. And I finally found that strength. But boundaries in a relationship is a different type of challenge that a lot of people don't prepare you for. I thought that me being single and dating is one thing, but being in a relationship and creating boundaries in that, and being in love and seeing your future with that person, that's a different type of separate boundaries that it's hard to like make a difference in that. Like, it's like, oh my God, where's my boundaries? And it's so hard. I didn't understand that. And I think that's where a lot of women end up in situations like me, where they're not creating boundaries in relationships.
That's deep. And I think, wow, I think both you and Kelly really gave great perspectives in different ways on not only how you hold yourselves accountable, but how your village can hold you accountable. Um, And I just want to pause in that, because a lot of people that are tuned in don't have a village. A lot of people don't have the self-confidence and the courage to hold themselves accountable. A lot of people don't have mothers, fathers, friends, whatever, to hold them accountable. So I just want to pause in that so that people from the outside looking in can take that in. And I really feel like the chat is engaged. So shout out to all of you that are tuned in and listening and giving positive affirmations. Kayla, Daniel's Mind, Jasmine, Caviar, Paul Author, all of you. Next question, because we're not going to let up. Positive before negatives, because I'm coming with it. What's a limit as a single mother? The number of children where now everybody's just looking at you sideways. Men, women, your family. At what point should you just tripping now? Now you really need to have a seat. You're doing too much. Kelly, what's the limit? The number of children.
The number of children that is acceptable.
Yeah, it's a bit much. As a single mother, we're kind of looking at you sideways. The first, the second, maybe, but now you're just kind of out there. What's a limit where a man would probably hesitate? Your family's questioning you. Hell, you're questioning yourself from your perspective.
I think there's a limit as far as never been married, and a limit as far as divorced.
Being a single, because a single mother, never been married. I think a single parent, you've been divorced. Because now you're not a single mother, you're a single
acceptable.
parent.
It's like, oh, you were married, you guys had 4 kids, and it didn't
you're a
work.
single parent.
Or it's like, you've never been married and you have 4 kids.
Now you're a single mother.
What's wrong? Yeah, what's wrong with you? I would say the forgivable limit is 1. After that, people start questioning, like, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Oh, okay, so there's a second mistake. It's a third, it's a fourth. So I think people can forgive a one-off, but like, then it's like, is this habitual? Is this who you are? It's like, there's a question now.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say that, but
it's true.
You see what a woman walking with 1 kid, and you're like, oh, okay, it happened. You don't know the story, but if you see her walking with 2 and 3, you're like, no ring. What's going on there?
Yeah.
Like, people just automatically judge. But as far as I was concerned, 1 was the limit. Like, 0 is the limit. Like, I was in the church. People literally looked at me sideways. I thought about like denouncing my religion. I was so mad at the church people for how they treated me when I became a mom. Like, I was very shunned. It was like almost like, well, the pastor's daughter? No, not you. If you do it, there's no hope for any of us. Like, it was pretty bad. But then I realized that my faith had nothing to do with other people. It had to do with just my relationship with God. So I got over that really quick, and I stopped caring what people thought. And I realized that my son was a blessing. And I know there are scriptures. Yes, you're not supposed to have sex before marriage, but also God opened and closes the womb. So it's like my son's a blessing, and if he's here, then God wanted him here because there's so many different ways you could not have a baby. They could die. You could have a miscarriage. They could be a stillborn. So for me, the way I see it is, if my son is here, God wanted him here, and he's a blessing. So the mistake was mine, but I'm never gonna put that on my child. Like, he is a blessing. He's here. We're just gonna
Yeah.
deal with it moving forward. So I don't let anybody ever make me feel bad about my child. The
Yeah.
mistake was mine. It was between me and his dad, but he is a blessing. So
Amen.
And that would, so as we talk through that, Kelly, my next question to you, which is like just a one off, what are you doing to ensure as a single mother that the next time will be the right way? How are
no, I'm
you?
not having no more babies.
Okay.
We're
Okay.
done.
Got you.
The
Even if you
shop is
meet a
closed.
guy and he's, because you said you want a man with no kids, right? In a perfect world, quote unquote,
Mhm.
is that still your preference, or have you completely become more flexible and more open?
If I met a man and he was absolutely like, I want another baby,
Hmm.
I would do it. But as far as
Why?
I'm concerned, the shop is closed.
Why would you do it? Because today you're saying, okay, let me ask you, let me tell you why I'm asking you that. Outside of a
Mhm.
man, you are your own individual woman, and you have your
Absolutely.
mind, and you have your idea of how you want to live your life. How does a man influence you? You said in the future. What kind of man would it take for you to say, yeah, I want another baby?
No, I'm saying if I got married and my husband was like, I want one more, I would do it.
Gotcha. Okay.
But if if he's cool and I'm cool, we're good. We're traveling. But if if he's like, I want one more, I would make the sacrifice. As much as it does, like, it's a lot on a woman's body. You guys just don't know. And you guys make fun of women. You call them oatmeal pies, but like the way your body stretches, how you feel, like morning sickness, all that is a lot on a woman. It's just
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
Stretching back and forth, back and forth. My mom had 5 kids. Stomach looks like sloppy Joe. But she did it for us. You know what I'm saying? Like, she went through all of that for us. Like, we're alive because she wanted to do that. Like, that's amazing to me. Like, my son got it, and that's it.
Yeah. So for now, it's a one and done unless he is husband status. Is that
No, no, no,
correct?
like, yeah, if we get married and he's like, I want
Yeah.
one more, I'll pop one out for him.
Okay. All right. B. Taylor,
Yes.
we're going to transition to you.
Okay.
So, guys, if you want
Considering
children, don't even hit me up.
considering your status as a single mother,
Mhm.
what's the limit in your opinion where you would be side-eyeing yourself to be like, girl, what the hell are you thinking?
One, nah, but I agree with Kelly with that too. I feel you know, I'm still trying to, because people think shaming works, right? But it just drove me into low self-worth, and that I was low value. And it made me not even want to value myself or my life. It made me feel like maybe I'm just being written off in society. And then it makes me go into thinking that I'm a bad mother, that I'm a bad woman, that I'm a bad person. It digs into that, spiral. So I think two is a lot. Two is a lot because, especially with two different men, if it was two with the same man, a little bit, it would have been a little bit different because a man doesn't have to enter. If me and my relationship doesn't work, and now another man got to come in. Not only have to deal with two different men, but he's gonna ask why these two men didn't marry you. I can say, well, I was young when I got pregnant with my first one. Okay, what happened to the second one? Why didn't you learn from that? So now that man is looking at me like I'm not of value. So then I'm gonna feel like I'm not of value, and then I'm gonna look at my life as not as valuable. I think if people need to be aware of what the detrimental, um, that it causes on someone's, uh, what is it, their mind, I
Their
guess.
psyche.
Their psyche.
Yeah, because I mean, I had really crazy thoughts of like,
Mhm.
just like, well, maybe if I wasn't here, it'd be better. Like, like stuff like the crazy thoughts, like crazy, crazy thoughts. So when people think that they're shamed, some people can't take that. Some people
Oh,
mind.
absolutely. Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't have grace for other people because it's like, dang, I'm already battling demons on trying to find my self worth and purpose of even living, and then you're already shaming me, making me feel, telling me that I'm just a cum dumpster, or I'm
A
horrible.
lost cause, like you're.
Yeah, a lost cause, or my children are bastards, and just making me feel even worse. Like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, because I'm a bad mother. Yeah, look at me. Yeah, I did. I'm already beat myself up. I don't need you to put the boxing gloves on
Yeah.
and jump me as well. I look for, yeah, like if I was going around saying, oh, who cares? I got 2 kids. Whatever, do you, girl? Like, I could see if I had that mindset, but I'm like, yeah, no, like I'm pretty a little messed up about it. I don't need you to put the boxing gloves on and jump in and do that for me.
Yeah.
I already fight myself. So I think 2 is a lot, because I never imagined myself with that. So it is a lot, especially with 2 different men. Because I don't even look at my love life after this relationship. If this relationship doesn't work, I think personally, I'm like, if God wants to send that right man, but I don't even know how to look at that. Like, dang, do I just give up love? Like, I just live my life and just, be single. I don't know what that looks like, but I know
Yeah.
that women in my life have gotten married with 2 to 3 kids. There are men out there that marry women with children. So I'll never give up that hope that whoever God has for me, or if me and Brandon do get married, but I'm not in control of the ring. So I can't force a man to, want to marry me. I can only just be the best Brittany that I can be, and the best mom that I can be, and make sure that I'm on my business, my P's and Q's with my life, my money, my finances, just in case somebody decides to walk out of my life. At least I know my children are good and that I am good. So that's the most that I could do. So I think 2 is too much, because 1 is already enough, especially if you're already dating. But for women who do have kids, I don't want to discourage y'all and say, like, because you have 3 to 2 kids, you just need to be realistic that you're gonna have to come with it. You're gonna have to really, you can't just be a hot mess out here with 3 kids. You gotta really, really, really be on your P's and Q's to even present yourself presentable in the dating market, because it is gonna be hard. And you may not get, the guy that you wanted at 23 years old. You're gonna have to be a little bit more realistic in what you're gonna get in the dating market.
And, I'm glad you share that. That was a very vulnerable and open moment. So I really appreciate that, B. Taylor. And someone in the chat commented, let me go back and see if I can find it really quick. Jasmine Caviar said, I had no idea women were getting shamed to that degree because single motherhood is so common in our community. And I can't help but to agree with her, right? I found myself wondering as I'm perusing through social media, and this new phenomenon of these male platforms are emerging. And I can't help but to sit back and say, not all, but some. And when I say some, I'm talking about the more extreme ones. When did you become an expert in womanhood? When did you become an expert in how women are supposed to be? And to put out these guidelines, these parameters, these policies and procedures. So a part of that is shaming that as I begin to do my research, a part of that is shaming single mothers. And I found myself saying, oh, I didn't know that being a single mother was now equivalent to bearing the scarlet letter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with that being said, Kelly, as a single mother, is marriage the goal? And
Of
how do you
course.
get there?
Oh, that's easy.
Please explain that, because I'd love to know.
Marriage is the goal. I do not hurt for male attention in any way, shape, or form. But it's the right kind of man that I want. I could be married. yesterday if I wanted to be. But I want to be with someone that I could like do life with, someone that I enjoy waking up to, someone that I miss when they're not here, someone that I love being around, someone that I find capable to be a good male influence in my son's life. Like I don't just want just any guy. If I wanted to, I could be like, any, mini, money, mo, I'll pick you. Like it's super easy because don't get offended, men, but men are simple. It's very easy to please a man, very easy. So I could get married. I just don't want to be married to just anyone. I want to be married to the right man, and I want to be married to someone who truly loves and cares and adores me. My father used to always say, "Look for a man that adores you." So, but I do have a boyfriend, and we are talking about that. So,
Nice. Yes. Like Kanye would say to Kim in her dress. Yes. Let me ask you this, Kelly. You've described what the right man would be for you. What's the right man for your son? As the right
for my
man
son,
as a stepfather.
so the type of man I would want around. So when I see a man, I say to myself, do I want my son to be this type of man when he grows up? Because boys are usually going to emulate the man that's around them. And he had an excellent male role model in my father. But my father recently passed away, which is why he now lives with his father because my father was here, he was active in his life. And when he passed away, he had no male role model. His father lives in another state. So he asked me, can I go live with my dad? Because he knows at 12, he knows he needs that right now. So that's just something boys do. They turn into the men that they're around. So I would say when I look at a man, I would want him to have good character. I would want him to be honest. I would want him to be charismatic. I would want him to be a kind person. Like I would want him to be someone that shows compassion, who is who is a strong male, like not feminine. I really cannot stand feminine men. I'm so sorry. Like for dating, like as far as hanging out, I'll hang out with your girlfriend, but I can't date a man like that. He has to be super masculine. So someone that's masculine, someone who is I don't know, just the type of man that I would want my son to be. I would want that type of man around him. So someone who's gonna add to be a good citizen in society, like someone like my father.
Nice. And
Probably too much.
no, that was beautiful.
Taylor.
Because I think these are the things we don't talk about. And I'm just gonna dig a little bit deep, but not from my knowledge, but just for those tuning in. Is your son's father a single father? Or is he married or in a serious relationship? And I'm
He's,
asking that for a reason.
he's in a serious relationship. They've been together for 7 years.
Okay.
They
So
live
when
together. So he's with him and his girlfriend and his girlfriend's daughter. So they're
okay.
doing one.
So that's somewhat of a blended family unit.
Mm-hmm.
So when your son comes to you at 12 years old and say, Mom, I think I want to go live with my dad. How do you have that conversation? And was the girlfriend, the wife, whoever, was she a part of that conversation? Or did you keep that strictly to you and your child's father?
No, I wanted to have a conversation with her. I told him I wanted to know the type of woman that my son's going to be around. I was just talking to B. Taylor about this
Yeah.
because I wanted to know because the woman that's around him is going to be imparting in him. Like he's going to see things. She's going to be speaking to him. She's going to be telling him things. I want to know what her mindset is, what she's like what kind of woman is going to be pouring into my child because he's going to be around her every day. So I wanted to talk to her. My son's dad was not for it at first. He was like, well, what are you guys going to talk about? He's not coming if I don't talk to her. So I need to know who this woman is. That is the end of the discussion. And that was like the final, once I talked to her, then that's when we made the decision. But it was hard for me because, oh my God, this is my baby. And he's always been with me from since day one. And now he's going to be living in another state, 4 states away. So yeah, that's not easy. Can't just like hop in the car and drive and see him. It's like 11 hours. So
Yeah.
it's not easy.
Thank you for sharing. And I always go back to the why. If people know why they're tuned in and what they're going to be getting, they're more likely to tune in again. And I think it's
Mhm.
very important when we host these type of conversations that we give people an educational piece of what some action items of here's something you can try, what you can walk away with. So thank you so much, Kelly.
My pleasure. I hope it was a good answer.
It
Right.
was great. Because I never had a talk. I'm a stepmom, and I've never had a talk with my stepson's mother.
No?
No, she didn't want to. My husband was like, "Hey, let's have a talk. Why
Oh.
don't we all sit down?" But she declined, and that's fine. We respect that. So it's good to hear it from the other side of how that happened, if that makes any sense. B.
Yeah.
Taylor. Yes. Is marriage the goal as a single mother? And tell us, how do you get there if it is?
It is the goal. I'm trying to get there. It's weird because I have on one end the men saying, go to the courthouse and rush into it. Then I have the married women in my life that are saying, baby, take your time. Take your time. I think marriage is a big responsibility, and I just want to be prepared for it so I can be equipped of what type of wife I need to be for it to work, and make sure that my relationship is um we know how to communicate better so we can ha- have a good communication in marriage, and we can work through anything if we can know how to communicate with each other and understand each other, because one thing I learned is that men communicate very differently than women, that I did not know. I wasn't raised around men like that, other than like, my grandfather and my dad. But as for brothers or just watching how men move and talk to each other and what they're really saying, I didn't get it. So when me and my boyfriend would butt heads because I'm like, I told you this and da 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 and da 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 and da da da, and he's like, I get it. Like, but I was like, no, I need to explain it and over explain like you're like my girlfriend, and so I'm learning how to communicate better and not be so impulsive, and then he's also learning me as well. So marriage is in the talks. It's always been in the talks. If it wasn't in the talks, I don't even think we would have gotten this far. There wasn't even a child to be out of if it wasn't in the talks. But it's just all talk. Ain't no ring on my finger yet. So I'm trying to learn from Kelly how to go ahead and get that ring.
I promise you I'll be married within the year.
I don't know, but
August 30th, 2023. Write it down, chat, because we coming back.
Write it down.
We're coming back. August 30th, 10:27 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Okay, we'll mark
2023. 2023. I'm sorry. All right, Kelly,
No,
you
because
said that.
I never heard from men wanting to marry me. It's just I don't usually want to marry them back.
Well, make sure you invite us because we want to eat a little bit of lobster and champagne. And Kayla says she hears that. And Kayla says she's going to be engaged by the next holiday. Kayla, wait a minute. Which holiday?
Yeah.
The holiday is right around the corner now.
Wait, are we talking about Halloween, Labor Day, like Thanksgiving,
I
Veterans
know
Day?
that's right.
Which holiday?
Yeah, it's gang gang. Oh, Kayla says she has to be in the wedding.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody's wedding.
I'm all about five bridesmaids and have B. Taylor.
I said,
You
yeah,
said what?
if you don't work with this one, I'm gonna go out and get an older man that's just ready to settle down.
Yeah. And B. Taylor, they say, JC says they see you being married within 2 years. So name it and claim it. We got a couple of, we got actually 3 weddings on the roster. We got Kayla being engaged next holiday. We got Kelly, August 30th, 2023. And we got B. Taylor bringing it up. 2025 in 2 years. Yeah.
B. Taylor, you could be engaged in 3 months because you're already in a relationship.
We'll see.
3 months. Just take my course. 3 months.
Okay, I'll take Kelly's course. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to Queen Sheba and Kelly because married.
All right, B. Taylor, I have another question for you before we do an icebreaker.
Okay.
You talked about marriage being the goal.
Mm-hmm.
Before you had your guy, your love that you have now, and your second beautiful son, how did you vet anyone that you dated to make sure that he was a good fit for your firstborn?
Ooh. Oh my God. Okay. I have a story. I'm like, Kelly, I have a story. So
I do always say that.
yeah, I have a story. So when I was dating, two scenarios. I did date a guy that was previously married with 2 kids. And I'll never forget this incident. How we met was through our kids. So that's why our kids played together. My son never knew I dated him like that. He never came over my apartment when my son was there. It was always like we bring our kids together. That's when my son is able to see you. So I'll never forget, we used to go and take the kids to Chick-fil-A and play, and we would sit there and have our conversations, right? And one time I said, I need to go to HEB and make a run. And I remember his kids were saying how much they love apples. And I bought my son these apple snacks with the little caramel dip. So I grabbed my son a pack and I grabbed 2 more packs. And I paid for them. And at the end, I put them in a separate bag. And I said, here for your son, because I know they said they love apples. He's like, oh, you didn't have to do that. I said, I would never just, no, it's fine. But to me, I was like, I'm not going to let these kids see that I'm buying my son something and they're being left out. That's just me being a good person, being a good woman, being a mother, and understanding children. So I'll never forget when we met up the last time. We actually got there around the same time he got there. He usually would get there first, or I'll get there first, and we'll order food and stuff like that. But this time it was more serious. We've been dating longer. He gets up, comes back, and I'm sitting there thinking he got my son something because he knows exactly what my son eats all the time. He comes back with the food. He got his 2 kids something and him something, and he didn't get my son anything. And my son, as the kids were eating in my son's face, my son says, where's my food? And he was like, I said, you didn't get him anything? He goes, oh, I didn't know he was hungry. He didn't get my son a drink, knowing my son was playing, nothing. And I said, you can get him anything? He looks annoyed. He gets up and go and gets a fry and was like, oh, I got him a French fry. I'm like, you know what? Never mind. I go up and get my son a kid's meal, which is like $3, $4? It's less than $5 at Chick-fil-A. Got him a kid's meal. I was so turned off. I was so disgusted. I said I would never treat anyone's kids like that. Nonetheless, the person that I'm dating. So that's how I knew that it was even something so small. It let me know that it was what's mine is mine and that's yours. That's yours. It wasn't like you see our
It's
kids.
us thing.
Yeah.
I considered your kids as, my kids' playmate, and then you do my son like that. I just don't want to have nothing to do with it because it lets me know that even if my son builds a relationship with you, if me and you fall out, you're going to dismiss my son. It just said a lot about his character. So I cut him off. And in the future, he ended up becoming a deadbeat anyway. So thank God that. And then there was another incident where I did date a guy, and he only met my son by because I needed him to put something together for my son. And my kids know vibes. And my son, we met at an ice cream parlor. My son was not trying to talk to him. He didn't like him. I could just tell my son was shutting down. He didn't want to look at him. And I was like, why is he acting like that? He usually does not act like that, but he just he didn't like him. Even when he came over to put this toy together, he was like, Mommy, let's go to my room, and he can stay out here. And I was like, why are you acting like that? The guy ended up being like a whole little cheater type of guy anyway, and was playing with me with another girl. So that was one situation. But when he met my boyfriend now, oh my God, they literally clicked so well. We went to a graduation party and he was just talking to Mason, and I'm saying my son's name anyway. He's talking to my son and interacting. He's letting him play video games on his phone. They're talking and he literally, people, they were so connected. People thought that was his son. They were like, oh, I thought that was his dad. I said, no, that's my man. That's my new man. And that's my first time meeting. And they're like, really? It doesn't look like it. They thought that was his dad. When we went skating together, he was like, he always wanted to join in on family activities. He took my son skating, like he was out in the skating rink teaching my son how to skate. He was paying attention to what my son liked. He bought him like Spider-Man toys and action figures. And when he thinks about our future, he says he includes Mason. He includes my son. So when he's like, oh, I got some Astros gear and I got Mason some stuff too. And he don't even tell me. He just go and give it to Mason. I'm like, Mason, where you get this stuff?
Yeah.
Brandon got it for me. Brandon. Or I will never forget, I was upset about something with his dad. And I was saying like, oh, he don't have enough shoes. He don't have enough shoes. And I got to go out and buy these nice shoes. I like to buy my son nice shoes. And his dad, on the other hand, like to buy off-brand shoes. And I was like, you're not about to have my baby walk around off-brand. My went out.
Me and my son's dad are the opposite. I'm like, he doesn't even know it's from Walmart. Like, what?
No.
Yeah.
He's like,
I'm with you,
you're gonna
Kelly.
have no. It's Jordans and it's Nike. It's like, like, who cares?
Thank you. And really quick, you have a couple of supporters out there. Lucky Marie said, great topic. You stopped by to show support. And she also said that single mothers tend to be more vulnerable and open, which is why moving with caution is very necessary.
That's true.
And that you use your instinct in that moment, and that single mothers can often be a target for dangerous minded men. So your child was able to pick up on some of those vibes.
Yeah, I think that's what that was. He wasn't a good guy, but with my now boyfriend, like my boyfriend, like I was saying, he bought him shoes, like some nice shoes, and he went out and spent his money to do that. And he just looks out for me and my son, and that's what makes me really, really love him. That, like, I'm not gonna lie, like that is what touches a single mother's heart, is a man that's gonna do for your child as well. So some men will use that as a way to get to you in bad ways, and then there's some man who's genuinely just good, and he's good with all kids. So that's just his personality.
Yeah. I'm tripping over a piece of fry. Like, dude, really, you want me to celebrate because you bought my child? No, I'm not giving you kudos for the bare minimum, because the end goal is you want to sleep with me, whether I'm a single mother or not. I mean, if we can just talk, like, that's why I think it's really important for women. A lot of times when I'm on platforms and I'm listening, women say money is not a factor. It is a factor.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have enough to buy my child a Happy Meal or a piece of fry, and I'm going to call it a piece of fry because they don't even put a full fry, a piece of fry or a soda, then financially, you're not even capable of merging with me. So I think it's important also for women that are dating, whether you're single or not. Ladies, start keeping it real. Finances are extremely important.
Yeah.
Can we all agree on that?
I agree.
Rich may not be important, but finances are important. And with that being said, we're going to play a game called ping pong. And I'm going to put 30 seconds on the clock.
Okay.
I didn't know it was going to be a game.
Yeah. B. Taylor didn't know either. And it's just 30 seconds really quickly. And when I say go, B. Taylor, you're going to say the first word that comes to mind when you think about a single mom. Kelly, it's ping pong. She's going to say a word. You're going to say a word. We're going to keep it going until 30 seconds is up.
So when she says, if you say single mom, she says the word that comes to mind. Whatever her word comes to mind, I say what comes to my mind from her word. Is that right?
So whatever comes to mind when you think of the title single mother, baby mama, just a woman with a child and or kids.
Yeah.
Okay. She's gonna start it off. You can only say one. It's ping pong. B. Taylor's gonna go first, and you ladies are just gonna ping pong off of each other in 5, 4, 3, 2. B. Taylor, get it started. Go.
What am I saying?
Hey, whatever comes to mind, the first word, just the
first
word
that comes to your mind, like welfare.
Stereotypes about single mothers. Go.
Survivor.
Oh, I was gonna say welfare.
Independent.
Projects. You said stereotypes.
You said stereotypes. Emotional.
Desperate.
Tired.
Vulnerable.
Lonely.
Use.
Abused.
Is 30 seconds up yet?
10 seconds. Go. Keep going. 10 seconds.
Stereotype.
Black women.
I don't think black women.
5, 4, 3.
Long nails.
All right. Good job, lady.
Shout out to Mr.
Great
Logic.
job.
Did.
Yay. I just wanted to throw something in there different, just to lighten the spirits,
Oh my
do a
God.
reset. You know, sometimes we kind of, and just to do a reset and just take a deep breath and pick
I
up.
want to go again. I got more words. Now that
And go, Kelly.
hardworking, independent, dedicated, loyal to their children.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, because I was like, damn, Kelly, you're more into a single
because
mom.
she said stereotypes. I'm thinking, like, what are the stereotypes that people say about single moms? Like, I didn't. I mean,
Yeah. And for the record, you two ladies have a lot of supporters. They say they're on those beat boxes from here on out. No 1942s.
no be
Mr. Logic. I think that's Mr. Logic. He says he's on beatbox from here on out. Hey, salute. That's what the Crusaders say, salute. We're gonna hold you to that. We're gonna hold you to that. So let's move on to the men, because I often feel like women, you know, a lot of times you have these standards, these strict standards about you being single mothers. And I do believe you should hold yourselves accountable. But let's talk about the Nick Cannons and the futures of the world. Do men get a pass when it comes to procreating?
Yes.
Yes. Why? Especially black men. Tell me why.
It's a man's world, and women have low standards when it comes to dating. So men have very high standards, actually, and women have low standards, because women accept men with multiple kids, while men know that they have higher standards to not accept a woman with multiple kids. And we live in a man's world. Therefore, men are telling us what is acceptable and what's not acceptable.
Hold on. Hold on. Somebody said we don't get oatmeal pies. What does that mean? What is an oatmeal pie?
Oh my gosh. That's the
not every single mom has an oatmeal pie.
What's an oatmeal pie?
It's like how the woman's stomach looks. You know how the oatmeal has like crinkles and, like after she has a baby and it how it stretches out.
Like that at all, actually. And it's all about how you take care of yourself during your pregnancy. I was not letting myself go. I didn't blow up to the point. And it's also genetics. Like, you can have one kid and end up having an oatmeal pie. So shout out to the women with oatmeal pies. I'm sorry that happened, but it is genetics. It did not happen to me. So not every single mom has.
How do y'all come up with this shit?
Because they're sitting around and they're single and they need to find something to talk about.
Okay.
Get married to a single mom so you can be busier. How about
I'll be on that Peloton tomorrow.
Hold on. Kids damage. They do, but baby, I got ass and hips after these kids, so I look good. Good.
So do men have oatmeal pies? Like a Rick Ross of the world?
They have dad bods. They have beer bellies.
Men gain weight during pregnancy too. So I don't know why, like, men, they get the beer bellies and
men get stretch marks too.
Get receding hairlines. So it's all a give and take with something.
Okay. Okay. Kelly, do men get a pass when it comes to procreating? And why do you feel like that is?
Yes, they get a pass. Why? Because it's a man's world and men make the rules. And there was a long time when women didn't even have rights. So who even cares what women thought for a long time? And now we have a voice. Oh, what we say matters. Oh, but men still write the narrative.
Okay.
We should be back. We should be the women back in the 50s in most men's minds. How dare we speak?
But they're
How
not.
dare we have a voice or a thought process that is outside of a man's world? Oh no. You have to sit at the kids' table with the women. You're not allowed to come out and talk to the men. Can you even understand us? It's like,
I feel like they do get a pass, and I think it's unfair to the children. I think you can only be in one place at a time. I don't give a shit how much money you have. Kids want you. Kids need you.
exactly, it's a
And
time
I
thing.
think there's competing priorities. Kids, like, I don't care. You can explain it. Well, I can afford my kids. Not really. When you're talking about the mind, body, and spirit. So I do think men get a pass based on their financial status. I think most men that are having children, um, as examples that we're seeing, are men that are financially stable, like the Futures, the Rick
No, there's a lot
Rosses.
of broke dudes out here that are making babies and can't even pay like $2 worth of child support per
They are, but
child.
those women will beat you down behind them too. Nuck if you buck, right? Am I right? Because those women act like those men carry value in some way. Have you ever like seen? I had like on shows and television. Those women still have some type of reverence and respect for those men. Those women are fighting over those men. So
Money,
I
power,
don't know what it is. Go ahead. I'm
Those
sorry.
type of men
money,
don't talk
power,
to me.
status. I don't know why. I think there's a lot of. I think men confuse women when they're beautiful. They think that there's a lot of broken women, and you can be beautiful and broken. So you're gonna go after a man that has money because you're broke and you're going off for survival. So a lot of these women that's getting pregnant, I think that the women who are getting pregnant by Nick Cannon are going off for survival. They know that they're just Instagram girls. They don't really have anything really in place to secure their future. So what better way than securing their future with someone who has already established himself? He has a baby with Mariah Carey, one of the greatest legends and singers out there. Why would you, as someone who's going off for survival mode, she's gonna be like, well, shoot, I might as well get knocked up because what I'm doing now is not gonna last me in the next 5 years. I'm getting older. He's gotten women pregnant from all different ranges, but most of them, they really don't have an established foundation. He's not knocking up a Sierra. He's not knocking up a Danny Lay, or he's not even just women who have something really, really actually going for themselves. He's not knocking those women up. He's knocking up Instagram girls who really know that as they age, their revenue goes down. So therefore, they got a backup plan, and that's Nick Cannon.
I would say some of those women are drop dead gorgeous. I mean, I'm gonna give, like, when I see them, I don't see a revenue decline. Let me be honest. But what I see is children going without their fathers, because you can only be in one place at one time. Kids need you, and at the end of the day, they don't. When you're thinking about, I don't know how many of us have grown up with fathers or without mothers. You don't. All I want is you. You see what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so when we think about that, I do believe a lot of men are given passes because of their economical status. And then somebody say, did you see Steve Jobs? Hold on, let me go back. Message about schooling women. I didn't. Do y'all know what that means? Did you see the Steve Jobs message about schooling women?
He just sent it. Hold on. You know
We
what?
can put it in the parking lot. We can come back to it if you want to, as you tee it up.
So
Or you
you're
want to
saying these women are letting him they're getting pregnant by him on purpose?
say that again?
These women are getting pregnant by
Of
him on
course.
purpose?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's a come up. Rightfully so, right? If we're talking strategic, like, women are like, shit, let me put myself in a position to never have to work again, at least for 18 years. It's a come up for her, but I think it's a detriment to the child
Okay,
past
so
age 10.
if we
But go
want,
ahead.
if we
How
want
much
to,
is he even worth? Can he even, like, what?
let's
Net
see.
worth. I'll look up Nick Cannon's
So
net worth.
my next question would be, this may be somewhat of a tough one.
I guess 20 million.
All right, go ahead. And I'll come back to it after this.
Jobs, the founder of Apple Computers, explain why.
If you ask who are the customers of education, the customers are the parents.
not even the students, but the parents. The problem that we have in this country is that the customers went away. The customers stopped paying attention to their schools for the most part. It's that mothers started working, and they didn't have time to spend at PTA meetings and watching their kids' school. Schools became much more institutionalized, and parents spent less and less and less time involved in their kids' education. And what happens when a customer goes away and a monopoly gets control, which is what's happened in our country, is that the service level almost always goes down.
That statement about moms would get jobs canceled if he said it today. But the larger point is parents aren't aware of what's going on in the classroom like they used to be. And the government likes it that way. The public schools don't want anyone looking over their shoulders because they don't want the customers looking behind.
Okay, I'm gonna stop it before I get
I
caught.
think that's a very good point based on last week's conversation with the crew. When we talked, I can't remember the question that they teed up, and it was talking about something. And my response is when Malcolm X said, when you teach a man, you teach an individual, but when you teach a woman, you teach a nation.
Mm. Yeah.
I'll pause.
I mean, yeah. I agree, but it's like, how do we get to that point? You know?
I think women, so it comes back to the topic today, single mothers.
Mm-hmm.
You don't become a single mother without a man leaving the home, without a man deciding, I'm not going to marry you after I make a child with you. I think,
and
go
I'll
ahead.
to jump in because I think there's a misconception that if you're a single mother, you slept with a deadbeat, you slept with a guy that had multiple children, you slept with a man that was just a Dusty or a Pookie or Ray Ray or a no good man. But honestly, like that has not been my situation. That I mean, I know that there's situations out there like that, but the men that I was with, that we were in relationships, we were in committed relationships. If marriage wasn't in the talk, I would never. I think I just was but naive to believe the words that were coming out of his mouth and believe that he was actually going to marry me and follow up on that word. But I wasn't out here just having unprotected sex with anybody. And I think that's been a misconception because it was men coming on my page was like, it's not my fault that you let all these broke dudes come inside of you. And I'm like, what? I've never been in the street like that. I've always with class. I've been in relationships when I am intimate with somebody. I wasn't out here in the streets getting it in and end up,
Yeah.
have a baby. Somebody come take care of it for me. Like what? Has never been the case. And I'm not saying that I just don't like that statistics that they're trying to say that that's every woman.
And I think we can all gather that it's not every woman, but I think it's the perception that people take and run with. And with that being said, it tees up the next question, which is actually the title of tonight's conversation, Stop Being Used, How to Date as a Single Mother
Yes.
in a Modern World. Avoid being a pump and dump.
Yes.
How do you avoid that, Kelly?
Ooh.
Super, super simple. Don't let them pump you. you can get so much more from a man when you don't have sex with him, because he's coaxing you. He's trying to get it. He's hunting you. He's trying to earn it, like almost like your prey. Like he wants it. He's trying. He can't get it. Why give it up so quick? It's like you take away from what you could possibly learn from him or get from him, because men like to chase. They not chase, but like they're hunters. They like that, like almost like, oh, she's not letting me have it. Ooh, I want to get it more. It's so like it's fun for most men. They can get it so easy. Well, the men I date, they can get it easy. So it's almost like, ooh, a challenge. I like it. Ooh, okay. They love that. Why not let them have that challenge that they want? They seek so bad. It's fun for them. They will continue to chase after you. They may still pump the easy ones, but they're going to pursue you hard because they can't get you so easy. Don't let them pump you. Super simple.
For me,
but I feel like most women want it too, so they're not willing to hold out because they're like, I want it too.
If you're a single mom, I think the best bet is for you to hold out, because I feel like men. Okay, this is how I always looked at it. When I first had my kid, the most embarrassment was, oh my God, people knew I had sex.
I thought that too. Now they know.
Knew I had
No,
sex.
I'm not a virgin.
I love the idea of them not knowing that I could be a virgin. I could, but it just makes me feel like I was a naughty woman, and I ended up getting knocked. I was doing some freak things to get pregnant. That's how it made me feel. So therefore, I feel like when I see men that's like, oh, she got a kid, she's probably, it's the reason why she got that kid out of him, and it may be true, but I am not a purpose.
They're gonna know that. They're never gonna know that.
They're never gonna know. So therefore, I think it is safer to not have sex until that man commits to you. And I made him wait. I was like, I'm not out here just about to put myself out here, because I know you think because I got a child, I'm a freak. And it's like, you don't know that. And I don't like that you think that. I don't know. It's just like, you don't have easy access to me. Just because I have a kid doesn't mean that I'm easy. Doesn't mean I should.
My son's dad said that to me. He said, now, because I was still a virgin when I met him, he was like, oh my God, now that you've had sex, if we break up, you're just gonna be out in these streets. That's what he said. And I was like, what? Just because I had sex with you doesn't mean I'm now a freak. Like, I am still a virgin to whoever meets me. Like, they don't just get easy access because you've had sex, now you're just open. No, I don't know you. I'm not comfortable. No, I don't know you.
I think for women, if you're a single mom, there are men out here with a mission. There's men out here on a mission to sleep with you and use you because you got a kid. They literally.
Then you need to make it mission impossible.
You need to make it mission impossible, because they know they're not gonna take you serious. It's even more that why they want to sleep with you, because it's a reminder. I'm not about to catch feelings for this girl. She got a kid. That's an always daily reminder for them. So therefore, before you let a man have sex with you, he needs to commit to you. You don't need to tell him, we can't have sex until you make me your girlfriend, because then he's just going to be like, okay, you're my girlfriend. You're my girlfriend.
So that would mean, hold on. So that would mean that you would have to be serious.
Yes.
And hold on, but maybe you don't want to be serious about him. So are you saying, and I'm going to push back a little bit, the single mothers can't have a little bit of fun every now and then?
You're going to get your feelings hurt. You can't have fun as a woman. I feel like I tried to do that.
No, as a single mother, because you said as a woman.
Okay, as a single
Taylor.
mother. Okay, example. I'll put myself out there. Example. I was single for 4 years. I waited until my son was 4 years old. I was lonely. I was celibate for 4 years. Nothing for 4 years. And so when I got back out there in the dating world and I met a guy, I was like, whoa, let's have fun. And I got my feelings hurt so bad. I got my feelings hurt. And I said, I'm tired of, because at the end of the day, at 30 years old, I believe women cannot just go out here, and especially when you have a kid, because it's like, okay, well, when is mom gonna take? I just feel like I failed my kids in a way by not getting married first and having a 2-parent home.
Mm-hmm.
I already did that once, so I can't just be out here being irresponsible and having fun and there's no man in the home. So therefore, if I want a man in the home, my youth is expiring. My body is, time is ticking. I do think that you can have fun, but it's time for you to get serious, because a lot of women go out here and have fun, meet a guy, end up liking him, and then be mad when he play her. So it's like,
so if you were given a woman advice, and for somebody that's tuned in and listening, as a single mother, what are your top 3 red flags? B. Taylor.
Oh, my top 3.
And I want to answer this question.
Oh, absolutely.
Can women have fun? I want to answer that question too.
Okay. My top 3 red flags dating as a single mother is a man that straight up tells you that he don't care for kids like that. He don't care about kids. He don't want to be a dad, or that's a red flag. because he's not going to ever accept you or your child. I think another red flag is that he's telling you that he's just going with the flow. That's a big red flag for me. And then another one is he doesn't include. There's so many red flags. Like, I mean, the dangers of exposing your child to this person. This person's a weirdo. Like
The last one that comes to mind, a strong one, if you had to share it with the woman that was listening,
flag is that,
or even a man that was listening.
Wait,
A red flag.
man?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, just as a single, I'm saying single mother. Let's keep it single mother.
If
Yeah.
it's just creepy and weird about seeing your child a lot, I don't know. Just,
okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Like,
Kelly, top 3 red flags.
I want to answer the other question.
Which one?
You said, are women not allowed to have fun? Like, as you said, would you tell a single
Yeah.
mom?
Oh, yeah.
Because
B. Taylor. So that was actually not a formal question, but because of B. Taylor's talk track, my brain kicked in and say, hold on now. That seems like a pretty serious roadmap. Like that a guy has to be serious. He has to commit. That seems pretty strict. Are single mothers not allowed to have a little fun?
No,
you know?
Too much fun. That's why she got a baby.
Okay, Kelly, what are your thoughts?
I would say no. I would say do not be out here having fun and just be having sex in these streets, because number one, sex isn't that good when it's not a person that cares about you. Like, men will literally have sex with you like they're using the toilet. Like, it's just something they had to get out of their system. Like, that is not enjoyable. That's not love. So if I'm going to have sex, it's going to be with a person that I am with, committed to, that we care about. Last person I had sex with was my ex-fiance. And did I have fun? Sure, we had lots of fun. But I'm not just going to be out here just randomly having sex with people, because that's how you get caught up, and that's not being accountable, because that's going to put you right back in the same single mother 3, 4, and 5 situation.
But I think you only get caught up if you're not using protection, right?
The condoms break. People get pregnant on birth control. People have there. I know some women who were on birth control and they had like antibiotics and it like canceled it out. There's so many things that could possibly occur where if the baby is gonna come, he's gonna come.
You don't want to be used. Is that what you want to expose your child to? Someone? I just feel like as a
you have people in and out the home, your child's gonna see that.
You did everything.
Oh, that's mommy's uncle. That's your new friend. That's mommy's new friend. Like, you really want to keep bringing people.
Right. And then, like, I think that because we did things backwards, it's like, okay, well, how can we recorrect that road? We're not 23 with no kids anymore. Like, you know, we have a child that looks up to us, and eventually that child's going to grow up. And I believe there needs to be a man in the household. It just can't just be me out here fooling around having fun with men who are married women with no kids, and I'm over here a single mom throwing my in a circle for you, and I gotta go back. You know, he ain't planning to marry me, and my child don't have like a father figure in the home. It's just like, we don't have time to waste. We did things backwards. We got the child. There's no time for fun. That's called being a mother and stepping up and trying to recorrect your wrongs. Therefore, you need to go ahead and be serious and get yourself together. Start working out. Getting your finances together. Make it to where a man wants to feel welcome to come into your space with your child, because there already is a lot of odds against you. So you don't got time out here just be having a hot girl summer, as a single mom.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't think there's a problem with waiting. Like, I don't see
that's a perfect word. Speaking of waiting, how long did you wait before you allowed men to meet your children or your child? Who wants to go first?
Men don't meet my child. Ever.
Okay. All right.
My ex-fiance met my child.
I don't have any sound effects, but I'm playing one in my head. So imagine whatever, B. Taylor,
Okay.
time limit. How long? What's the right amount of time before someone could meet your child, or you have waited?
I think that it should be at least 6 months. I was so impatient though, because me and my boyfriend, we were like every day together, going on vacations, traveling, and everything. And he like met my son once. So my rule was 6 months, but I did it at 4. That just because of how serious we were. It was just like, man, like, but if I can go back, I wish I would have waited, because kids really do get attached to men. And I remember at times where I felt like we were going to break up and go our separate ways. My son's like, where's so-and-so? And I'm like, he died. No, I was playing. I really wanted to say that.
But that is hard. When you meet
It's
children,
hard.
you don't just break
I'm
up.
already heartbroken that we might be broken up, and then my son in my ear asking for him. I'm like, he died.
Tell him he's a beatbox now. He's gone. He's out of here.
And that's the hard part about involving children. Like, you don't just break up with the person, you break up with the family. However many kids they had or you had, it's like a total breakup.
Yeah,
My
it is a
ex-fiance-
breakup. It's a breakup.
It is.
It is
Because these are people you've built relationships with. These people you see on a
Yeah.
daily basis. And now it's not just your fiance that's gone, it's the children that are gone too. And it's like,
yeah, I did not like that. When I dated that guy that only got my kid a piece of French fry, every time
A piece of French fry.
Lord, I can never forget that. But every time we passed up the Chick-fil-A, he would be like, can we go play with so-and-so? And I'm sitting at the steering wheel like, no, we can't go there. Like, we can't go there, because I'm all sad about not talking to him anymore. Because I actually liked the dude at one point. Like, I really liked him. So it's like going through a breakup and your child's going through a breakup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Mr.
then-
Logic,
and then-
I am
and then
not.
when you get
Mr.
older,
Logic
what do you
put
say?
something in the chat. I am not going to repeat that. He said he didn't die. And I'm not going to say it, but I'm going to make up something. He said he didn't die. He became a beatbox. So we'll go with that. We'll go with that. So speaking of ladies, and this is where I'm really going to hold both of your feet to the fire. I feel like women are not honest about what they really want, because we try to protect men and their egos. And you hear a lot of that on these manosphere platforms. And I don't think that's a woman's job, because I think when you protect a man, it's like working out in a gym. That ego, that confidence, that male dominance doesn't have the opportunity to grow. With that being said, let's talk about finances. I hear a lot of women get on these platforms, and I'm looking at you sideways when you say money's not a factor. It really don't matter. Let's keep it real. As a single mother, if you're really looking to take on a man seriously forever, together, I do, is money a factor?
Absolutely.
It is. Security for any woman, as my therapist said, a woman loses confidence in her man when she doesn't feel financially secure.
For me, it's not the fact that he has to make a certain amount of money. It's just he has to be able to keep up with my lifestyle. So there are certain places I like to go, certain places and things I like to eat, and I'm not paying for you. So
Hold on, Kelly. Wait a minute.
be able to come or not. Like, no, if I'm
Because
going
I'm going to
on
pull the
vacation-
tapes on you, Kelly. On one of our platforms, you said money was not a factor. And I was
money is
taken
not a
back.
factor.
Let me
Money
tell
is
you
not
why
a
I was taken
factor.
back. Because
Money's not-
I didn't know you then. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is a woman of a different caliber. For sure, there has to be a number.
Money is not a factor as far as me getting to know a person. For me, the most important thing is character. And then it's drive, it's ambition. Like, if you are a couch potato, I can't work with that. But if I meet a man that is ambitious, to me, it's like, okay, what are your dreams and goals? I'll help you get there. That's simple. Like, money is not a hard thing to make if you have ambition. But if you're happy with going to your 9 to 5, coming home, doing the couch potato thing with the video games in front of the TV. I can't work with that. But if you have goals, you have dreams, like, okay, let's help you get to the next level. What do you want? Okay, let's help you. What do we need to do? I'll get there. We'll get there. But so as far as like me meeting a person, if I fall in love with a person and they're not rich or whatever, that doesn't bother me. Number one, because I have my own money. Number two, because I know I can help you get there. Like whatever the goal is, we're gonna get there because I'm backing you. I remember a story, I think it was a joke, I don't know if it was a real story, that Hillary Clinton was with Bill Clinton, and they went to a gas station, and then he was pumping gas, and when they drove away, she's like, honey, that guy back at the gas station, I used to date him when we were younger. And he was like, ha ha, if you would have married him, you'd have been the wife of a gas station clerk. And she was like, no, he would have been the president of the United States.
Everybody hit mute.
So,
But let me ask you something.
I feel like wherever you
That's
want,
a great
let's
example.
get there.
So while he was if he were a gas station clerk, would you buy him a piece of French fry? Come on, keep it real, because I know you. Why not?
And that's the thing. That's why money to me is important. So, like, for example, if you like to go eat at certain places and I don't eat at those places, I'm gonna go eat at the places that I like. I'm gonna go to my favorite restaurant, Eddie V's. It's not cheap. Okay, you're gonna spend minimum $100, minimum, right? If you're talking about drinks and appetizers and the meal, minimum. That's for one person.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
if I go there, that's where I like to go. And you're looking at your wallet like, I can go to Applebee's.
Okay. So at what point?
I'm not an Applebee's girl. I'm not going to Applebee's.
So at what point? Because men are listening, and I'm not challenging your standards. That's not what I'm doing. But what I'm saying is, at what point does a working man know when it's like double dutch? When can I jump in? When do I wait? And as the rope comes around, when can I jump in? Because it's with some men, if you wait too long and he reaches a financial status, he's not looking your way.
That is true. That is
so. B. Taylor, you jump in, and we're gonna come back to you, Kelly.
Okay, so I feel like I think I'm trying to say it. I feel like so much, but I think that men try to put a staple of like, well, what is broke? What is money? It doesn't matter how much money you make. It's about how much money you can keep. That's the difference between being broke, because you could make $80,000 and up a year, but you're short on paying your bills because your lifestyle,
you live above your means.
Above your means. You can't keep up with the lifestyle that you're trying to live, right? For me, I even said it on the previous platform that I can date a man that makes $60,000 as long as he knows how to manage his money, as long as he knows how to manage his finances, as long as you can take care of yourself and also save and have and invest where you have money to date, then I'm good with that. I don't need you to take care of everything and pay for everything, because I'm going to be a little bit realistic. As much as I would love for a man to pay for everything, that would make me jump for joy. I understand that we're living in a day and age where people have lost their job, the economy, inflation. So I understand that. Especially if I'm going to be dating a Black man, there's not a lot of Black men who make over six figures. So I'm going to be understandable to that. But as long as you can support your lifestyle and you can blend in with my lifestyle, I don't need you to take care of my child. But if you do I would want you to have money where you can have things to spoil me and take me out. And we don't have to go on a date like every day. But, if you have enough to take me out,
what's enough? Keep it real. What's enough? Because Kelly said, I like to go to Eddie V's. Me alone, sitting at the bar, having my appetizer, blah, blah, blah. It's $100.
Maintenance, because I don't need to go to Eddie V's every weekend.
No, I don't need to go there. But if if I'm going out to eat, that's where I'm going to go. I'm not going to take myself to Applebee's. I'm going to take myself to Eddie V's.
Right. And that's why I'm asking B. Taylor, what's enough?
Also restaurants where there's like $22, $18 for the plate. Like it doesn't have
Like
to be
Chili's, like
no, not
but
even
they're like mom and pop
Chili's,
shops.
but like we
too.
go to like there's like an African restaurant or like try new places. Like I don't mind going to a burger place.
Jamaican.
Good, like Craft Burger. They have like drinks and burgers and all types of stuff that's fun.
Hop Daddy.
Yeah, Hop Daddy. Like it's
That's
just,
a $70 tab for one hamburger.
yeah.
Pretty much. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
What hamburger is that? I might need to check it out from my foodie page.
I'm not a. It's not. I can go to Papados.
And don't get me wrong. Like I will go to that place to check out. I like quality food. That's my issue.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
gonna go to McDonald's. I'm not gonna put the
Yeah, no.
trash half meat, whatever the heck it is, in my body. I'm just not gonna waste calories on that.
So
Yeah,
Kelly likes fine dining.
I'm gonna. Yes, I do. I like if you go
I
to
do
my
too.
foodie page, like I
Weekend.
food. For
So,
me
B. Taylor,
is an
what do you like?
experience. It's an experience.
Kelly likes
like
fine
putting
dining.
it in
I
your
love fine
mouth
dining. But
And
what do
the
you like, B.
tingles and
Taylor?
the sensations and the
I like fun.
textures
So
and flavors.
I don't know. I
Oh.
like fun. Like if you could take me to like a arcade or like a go-kart place or a Mexican restaurant
Busters.
and drink and have fun. Like
Okay.
I like to create my own atmosphere. Now, if we want to be bougie one day and dress up and surprise me, baby, let's do it. Like, let's do it. I'm grateful for that. I'm gonna dress up so sexy for you. But it doesn't have to be every weekend. Like it can be a special occasion. It could be once a month. You can take me out to somewhere nice, or if we're celebrating something. I don't know. I just no logic. We're not beatboxing and Netflixing. That I'm not doing.
At first he said beatbox and chill, but he cleaned it up a little bit and came back and added Netflix. I guess since he's not gonna get you a little bit of a piece of French fries, so he threw in Netflix.
Netflix and chill because that's like the lowest efforts of dates, and that just means that you're just trying to, you ain't trying to take me nowhere. That you don't see me in no type of value. I just want a guy to be creative, because if a guy that has money. And he could take you to Steak 48. Like he could. That's nothing.
Yeah.
He could take.
Well, they have a new requirement now.
They do.
You have to have 150. You have to spend $150 per person now, just because of the thought bots that have come through and spent $25 on one drink, and they've sat and sat.
Mm-hmm.
And restaurants lose revenue when you spend when you buy one drink and share one appetizer between 8 girls.
Yeah. They try to, front and make it seem like they're luxury eating. I like to just try new places. I like fine dining too, but
yeah,
take me to Chili's. I definitely got in a debate with men where I'm like, don't
is Chili's still open?
Chili's is still open.
Okay.
Chili's is somewhere you go where you're just like, oh, let's go somewhere late at night. I don't know. Like there's certain people that do go to Chili's.
Like just like appetizers.
Just appetizers and cheap drinks. Like I've had like friends, like women tell me like, oh, let's go here. But I'll never forget, like somebody was like, let's go to Chili's. And I'm like, why? If we wanted cheap drinks and appetizers, I could have went somewhere that at least had better.
I can make it for you. I love to cook and Kelly, you got to come over. Like next time I host a happy hour at my house, and it's 1 hour happy hour.
Yes.
Where are you?
So much. I'm in Northwest Houston. Let me come back to that. Let me get us back. We'll talk about that later. Now, I know we're
Florida,
almost close to 2 hours. You're in Florida?
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay.
Yeah.
When I throw the happy hour, literally you come over for drinks and appetizers, people are begging to stay. No, you got to go. It's happy hour.
1 hour.
Okay, ladies. As we start to wrap up with the final questions, this isn't the final questions, but it's one of the final. Kelly Couture, would you date you as a single mother? And if so, why? Why would you date?
Absolutely, I would date me. Yeah, for sure. I'm fun. Like, I'm always a good time. Whenever we go out, it's going to be a blast. And like, I'm fun, I'm sweet, I'm funny, good personality. Like, you're going to have a great time. I know how to have a good conversation. Like, yeah, I would totally date me. Absolutely. I would marry me.
Oh, double down. What size ring? Just in case they're listening. Because we don't want no excuses. Come August 30th, 10:27 p.m. 2023, because we're all clocking back. What size ring? Put it out there.
I have a man. He knows. We've already talked about it.
I'm just saying, just in case he forget. It's on record.
He knows.
Gotcha. B. Taylor, as a single mother, would you date you?
Yes, I would. I come with some feist, but I don't know. It's hard to say because I always thought I would date me. But then my boyfriend is like me. Like he's very good at the core, but then he just got a spicy mouth as much as I do. And I'm like, what the hell you do? And I'm like, oh my God, I'm dating myself. So I was able to see a lot of my flaws and fix them because he's like mirroring me. So I think I'm already dating myself. I feel like I'm already dating myself. But at the end of the day, from what I hear from men, I'm a really good woman. Like I'm a really, really good woman. They're like, man, like it's just that like, one thing, but you're definitely like a really great woman. That's why they just can't leave me alone.
Okay.
It's a reason why
Yes.
I'm coming back from like 10 years ago, 20 years ago, not 20, God, but like 10 to 12 years ago, I have exes hitting me up and I'm like, well, there's something that was a great impression. So
Yeah. Well, you've heard it here first, everybody. B. Taylor would definitely date her, and Kelly Couture would definitely date herself.
you're
And
married.
with that, with that being said, ladies, if you could do anything over as a single mother, what would you have done differently? And don't say nothing. Kelly Couture.
I can't say what I would have done different. I know what it is. I can't.
Why?
Put it in the parking lot. We'll spin a block. B. Taylor.
If I can do it differently, I would definitely. Oh, I wish I had my mindset now. That I had at I think 23, 24 years old. I wouldn't chase and try to convince somebody to love me. I would be more responsible with sex. Um, and although him using protection may feel good at the moment, and you think you're feeling closer to that person, and you're like, well, I'm letting him, do this with me so we can be closer, and no other girl's gonna do that because I'm doing it. Like, no, ma'am. Men look at sex very differently. I wish I knew how men looked at sex compared to how women look at sex because we think if we're opening ourselves up and being vulnerable and intimate with you and trusting you with our bodies,
Yeah.
we're thinking you have the same mindset when really it's not. They're just in it for the moment. And then when you end up pregnant, they're shocked because they're like, well, how you get pregnant? It's like, well, you was doing what you was doing.
You were like there. What do
Yeah.
you mean? You were there.
You were there. Like we were doing things to make a baby. Like what? So I wish I can do things a little differently. Now with my first son, I feel like it taught me a lot. Now, differently, I would demand marriage. I wish honestly, if I can go way back, I wish I just never had sex at 18. I think I was trying to prove to my friends that I wasn't this scary virgin girl.
You said you wish you would have had sex at when?
18. I had sex with somebody
Okay.
that I didn't even like or care
Okay.
about. I just did it just to get it over with. I didn't put value on my virginity. I was very scary. There was older men trying me left and right since I was like young. And the only reason why I wasn't out there having sex with the girls that were having sex at an early age, because I was scary. I was terrified of sex. So it took me into adulthood to do it, but I just did it just to get it over with. And I didn't put value on that. And I wish I still had that. I wish I valued my virginity. I looked at it as something to just get over with and do what other people were doing so I can join the conversations and not be made fun of for being a virgin, because I was made fun of for being a virgin for the longest.
That's you ladies have been phenomenal, like on so many different levels. And I'm not just saying that to be nice, because I really feel like I threw some things out there, but I paused to give you an opportunity to answer. I didn't want to be nice, and I felt like I wasn't nice in my own way, and you both brought it. So thank you for being open and transparent. Somebody asked me would I
Really
date
good question.
yeah. And we hit the ground running. Somebody asked me, would I date myself? I think it was JC. Absolutely. I would snatch me up in a heartbeat, honey. What is you talking about? Yes, but it's not about me tonight. It's about these two queens. And with that being said, ladies, if you could tell a single mother or share anything with anyone tuned in about the highs and the lows and how to hang in there and stay focused, what would you say, Kelly Couture? Or would you like a moment?
No, I can go.
Because I know we were supposed to come back on another question for you.
What the red flags?
Regrets. Would you do anything differently? And we can leave it if you want to, or we can go to the next one.
So I would say my regret would be not moving, because my son's father could have played a more active role early on, but because we lived in different states, he had to like travel multiple times a year versus being there consistently on a daily basis. So, and I didn't realize, I mean, I knew because of my father, but I didn't realize at the time how much it would affect my son being a boy and him needing his dad there. So I think you can do it all.
That's real. And I love to hear that transparency, right? And if you could share anything that's been very helpful for you along the way, or things you wish you could have done differently, or things you wish you would have known, what would you share now with any single mother, anybody tuned in? And before you answer that, funny comment. Somebody said, we need to talk, said, I would absolutely not date myself. I don't know who that is, but you know what? What Erica
He was
Badu
on
say?
the panel. He was on the panel.
He was on the panel the last time.
Damon?
Alan.
Okay, the one at the top.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. We need to talk. We appreciate the honesty, King. All right, Kelly. Any tips, any nuggets you would like to leave in the palace? I'm sorry, we're not in the palace. We're on B. Taylor's platform.
Palace, yes.
That's Queen
like
Sheba's palace.
We got the
Yeah.
queen and the princesses.
Yeah.
I would tell single moms that just because you had a child, that doesn't mean that's the end. Like, you still have a whole life ahead of you. And I would say, don't succumb to the stigmas and the stereotypes, because you can be whoever and whatever you choose to be, even with a child. And I would also say that there's a lot of opportunities out there for single moms. There's things that the government will help you with. And I'm not talking about staying on welfare. I'm talking about like education. They'll give you grants and stuff to go to school so you can educate yourself and better yourself to better take care of your child. Like, having a child isn't the end. It is the beginning of a beautiful new process. And men do still want you. That was a fear of mine. Like, oh my God, if I don't marry my son's dad, because we were engaged. If I don't marry my son's dad, people are going to think he didn't want me. Like, it really was like a fear. But at the end of the day, my father said to me, he said, marriage isn't something you rush into. He said it's the second most important decision you'll ever make in your life, because the person that you end up with can make or break you. So he said that there are reasons why some people call marriage a ball and chain, because it's like you're in a prison. So he said you need to choose wisely. So
wow.
Yeah. That's my 2 cents.
Thank you,
Well,
Kelly.
5.
B. Taylor, can you wrap it up and send us off?
Okay. What I would say is, I know you're going through a lot of pain. I know you didn't expect to be in this situation. I know you're feeling a lot of like disappointment and betrayal, because the person that you had a child with wasn't the person that you met initially or you thought would leave you in this situation. The only thing that you can do now is forgive yourself, and right the wrongs by directing yourself and your focus on what type of dad he's not being, or what type of man he's not being, by what kind of woman you can be and what kind of mother you can be for your child. because your child is looking up to you, and you can beat the odds and prove to yourself that you are more than what you're being treated as. Um, and that you can see your self-worth even if that person didn't see your self-worth. And you can overcome this by focusing on yourself, finding your purpose, building your self-esteem, building your self-worth, building a legacy for your child, and healing not for a man to come into your life, but healing for your child, to break that generational curse, to make sure you are doing what you need to do as a mother so your child won't follow in their father's footsteps. um, and then just pray and get close and spiritual with yourself. But I think healing is going to be your best revenge. Leveling up is going to be your best revenge. Um, and not focusing on that pain, but letting it motivate you to become a better person. So the right man can come along and find you and believe that you are deserving of real love. Create boundaries for yourself and look back on that relationship and see what part did you play. Because when you also look at your mistakes and what you did to play a part in that failed relationship, it's going to help you in your future relationship, where you won't keep repeating this cycle over and over and over again. And yeah, create boundaries. I think that's the most important thing,
Yeah.
that's when you're ready to date again. But take your time on dating. Don't try to rush out there and prove a point to your son's father that,
Yeah.
oh, you didn't want me, somebody will. You don't need to prove that point. And he may be out there dating other women. He's still that same broken, messed up man that you dated. So you're not missing out on nothing, and they gonna learn who he is. So he may be looking like he's having fun, partying, living his best life, and you're sacrificing, but that sacrifice will pay off in the long run.
Yeah.
So
Well,
yeah.
you ladies did an outstanding job. Thanks to both of you for having the courage just to kind of get up here and be open. You didn't know what questions I was going to throw at you, and you handled it like a true, strong, solid single mother would. So kudos to you. And although I am not a single mother, I have been a child of a single mother. And I just want to say, keep going to all of my single mothers and fathers out there, because as a child, we don't see you as a single mother and or a single father. We just see you as mama and or daddy, and we love you just as you are. And with that being said, we are going to wrap it up. Thank you everyone for tuning in. It was a pleasure just dialoguing tonight. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thank you for having me.
Make sure to like and subscribe. If
That's
you
right.
subscribe to Kelly Culture, Queen Sheba, and make sure you leave a comment below how you felt about this entire segment or certain posts you want to comment on.
Because we love to read the comments. We just love them. And we talk about them.
Right. All right, guys. Thank you again. Bye.
Bye-bye. Good night.